Imagine living with a condition so rare that only a handful of people in the world share it with you. Or sometimes, no one at all. These diseases are so unusual, they challenge modern medicine, leaving doctors baffled and patients fighting every single day. From mysterious genetic disorders to conditions that seem almost unbelievable, today we're diving into the lives of people who are living with the rarest diseases in the world. Are you new in this video? Click subscribe and hit notification bell, so let's get started. This is Raiden Gallardo, a 3-year-old boy born with Pfeiffer syndrome, a rare genetic disorder that affects the shape of the skull, face, and limbs. For Raiden, it meant undergoing multiple life-saving surgeries just days after birth to prevent his skull from closing too early and to allow his brain to grow. From the start, life has been a fight. Raiden spent nearly 7 months in the hospital after he was born. He's unable to crawl, he's deaf, and he breathes through a track tube. His mother, Natasha, had to leave everything behind, moving from Cheyenne to Denver, just so Raiden could receive the complex care he needs. But out of struggle came strength and support. In their hometown, a 6-year-old girl named Willow decided to help Raiden's family. She opened a lemonade stand to raise money, and her act of kindness touched an entire community. Businesses matched the donations, and people rallied behind Raiden's fight. Raiden's story is not just about medical battles. It's about hope, resilience, and community. Pfeiffer syndrome may have shaped his body, but it hasn't touched his spirit. With every surgery, every smile, and every act of love around him, Raiden proves he is more than a diagnosis. He's a warrior in the body of a little boy. Cynthia Murphy was born with Treacher-Collins syndrome, a craniofacial disorder that alters the eyes, ears, cheekbones, and jaw in roughly 1 in 50,000 births. And for years, that difference defined how the world treated her. Growing up in Green Valley Lake, California, Cynthia endured relentless bullying. Classmates called her ugly, and she was even beaten up after school. The constant ridicule nearly crushed her confidence, leaving her feeling isolated and ashamed. Medicine became a second battlefield. Cynthia has undergone more than 16 reconstructive surgeries, including a major jaw reconstruction, to protect her airway and improve basic functions, like chewing and breathing. Yet each operation carried fresh pain and fresh hospital bills. Everything changed when Cynthia realized her difference could empower others. She began sharing her journey online, then co-founded the wellness nonprofit Assuaged with her husband Thane. Today, she's a vocal disability rights advocate, donating hearing devices, raising craniofacial awareness, and mentoring students who feel different, just as she once did. Cynthia's message is clear. Visible difference can become visible strength. From hospital beds to public stages, she transformed a story of pain into one of purpose, proving that beauty is far more than symmetry. It's resilience, kindness, and the courage to stand tall in your own skin. Ravi Kumar, a 40-year-old man from Madurai, India, once lived an ordinary life, until a tiny pimple appeared on his face 3 years ago. What seemed harmless quickly turned into massive tumors that now cover his entire face, leaving him blind in one eye and unable to work. Ravi says the condition has devastated him financially, emotionally, and socially, as people struggle to even look at him. Despite countless doctor visits and medications, no treatment worked, until renowned surgeon Dr. Sunil Richardson offered hope. With funds raised for his surgery, Ravi now faces a chance to regain not only his sight, but also his dignity. "I just want to live like everyone else," Ravi says, holding on to hope that this surgery will finally change his life. Karine De Souza, from Brazil, was born with one of the rarest and most challenging conditions in the world, xeroderma pigmentosum, or XP. This genetic disorder makes her skin unable to repair damage caused by ultraviolet rays. Even the slightest exposure to sunlight can cause painful burns, lesions, and life-threatening skin cancer. From the age of 3, Karine has been forced to live in the shadows, protecting herself with special clothing, sunscreen, and shade. Over the years, she has undergone more than 200 surgeries to remove tumors, losing parts of her nose, lips, and even a breast to melanoma. But despite the suffering, Karine's spirit remained unshaken. She met her husband, Edmilson, online, and their love story quickly captured attention. In 2023, they welcomed a baby girl, Zaya, a miracle that Karine calls the greatest blessing of her life. Sadly, Karine has faced cruel online attacks, with people labeling her irresponsible for becoming a mother. But she has answered with grace and courage, saying, "Every dream is valid, and mine was to have a family." Against all odds, Karine proves that love, strength, and hope can flourish, even in a life lived without sunlight. The teen who looked like a grandma, Zara Hartshorn, is a girl from Rotherham, England, who was born with a rare genetic disorder called lipodystrophy, a condition that makes her skin age rapidly and appear wrinkled, saggy, and old, even as a child. By the time Zara was just 12 years old, people often mistook her for a middle-aged woman in her 40s. Kids bullied her, adults stared at her, and even bus drivers questioned her age. They called her names like grandma or old lady, completely unaware that Zara was just a young girl fighting an invisible battle. Her condition means that the fat under her skin is missing, which causes her face and body to look much older than her actual age. Sadly, Zara's mother also had the same disorder and recognized the signs early on. Despite her mother's support, Zara struggled deeply with her appearance and the emotional toll of being judged by how she looked. But Zara's story didn't end in sadness. At the age of 16, she flew to Texas, USA, where she underwent a life-changing facelift surgery. The goal wasn't vanity. It was a chance for Zara to finally feel like the teenager she truly was. After the surgery, Zara felt reborn. She said people no longer stared or laughed at her, and for the first time in her life, she felt confident walking in public. Today, Zara is an inspiring figure who speaks openly about her condition. Her story has been featured in documentaries like I'm a Teenage Grandmother, raising awareness about lipodystrophy and the emotional struggles behind looking different. Meet Jeff, a warm-hearted individual born with Naegger syndrome, also known as Naegger acrofacial dysostosis, a rare genetic condition that affects the development of facial bones, ears, forearms, and thumbs, without impacting cognitive abilities. From a young age, Jeff faced a world of stares and unanswered questions. But he quickly learned that the best way to connect was not to hide, but to share his passions. He invites people to get to know him beyond appearances. He hopes that instead of staring, you take the time to talk to him about sports, animals, and Disney. Over the years, Jeff has become a beloved member of the Special Books by Special Kids community. He shares his love for go-karts, his favorite Disney stories, and his unwavering positivity, turning a rare diagnosis into a bridge for connection. Despite facing challenges, including limited mobility, hearing differences, and surgeries to address facial structure, Jeff finds joy in every day. The community he's grown around him isn't just supportive, they've become like family. Evan Fasciano, born in 2011 in Goshen, Connecticut, is a young boy who has become known for his courageous fight against a rare and severe genetic skin disorder called harlequin ichthyosis. This condition causes his skin to grow at an accelerated rate, 10 times faster than normal, resulting in thick, scaly plates that cover nearly his entire body. At birth, Evan's skin appeared as if he had been wrapped in a crusty layer, resembling plastic wrap. His condition is characterized by the formation of large, diamond-shaped scales separated by deep cracks, affecting his facial features, eyelids, and joints. This leads to challenges such as difficulty blinking, restricted chest movement, and an inability to sweat, making him highly susceptible to dehydration and heat stroke. Managing Evan's condition requires intensive daily care. His parents dedicate over 4 hours each day to bathing him, gently removing the thickened skin and applying emollients to keep his skin moisturized and prevent cracking. This meticulous routine is crucial to prevent infections and manage the rapid skin growth. Despite the challenges posed by harlequin ichthyosis, Evan's spirit remains unbroken. He is described as a joyful and energetic child who brings light to those around him. His story has inspired many, shedding light on the resilience of individuals facing rare medical conditions and the importance of early diagnosis and continuous care. Imagine living with 31 fingers and toes, more than anyone else in the world. Meet Kumari Nayak, a woman from Ganjam district in Odisha, India, who was born with a rare condition called polydactylism, which causes extra fingers and toes to develop in the womb. Kumari has 12 fingers and 19 toes, breaking the world record previously held by Devendra Suthar, who has 28 digits. But Kumari's story goes beyond just a medical rarity. For years, she's lived in isolation, not because of her condition, but because of the cruel stigma attached to it. In her village, superstitions run deep, and locals have branded her a witch. Children run from her, neighbors avoid her, and the judgment has forced her to stay hidden indoors for most of her life. Despite this, Kumari remains resilient. She has not received any surgery due to poverty, and says all she truly wants is to be accepted and to live in peace. Her story gained media attention, in hopes that awareness might lead to compassion and support from the government and medical community. Kumari Nayak is not just a record holder, she's a symbol of strength in the face of rejection. Meet Chang Tzu Ping, a Chinese man famously known as Two-Faced Chang. He lived with an extraordinary condition called parasitic twin, or fetus in fetu, which meant that a partially formed twin grew attached to his own facial structure. On the right side of his face, Chang had a second, incomplete face, with its own mouth, teeth, traces of nose, eyes, ears, and scalp. Remarkably, when Chang opened his primary mouth, the smaller mouth on the side would also move. As he reached his 40s, doctors performed surgery to remove the parasitic face. Though his right ear remained permanently disfigured after the operation, his overall condition was greatly improved. Chang returned to his rural village in southwest China, living out the rest of his life more quietly. His story gained international attention, being featured in television programs and medical documentaries during the early 1980s, portrayed as one of the most striking surviving cases of facial duplication. Luna Tavares Fenner, born on March 7, 2019 in Florida, captured global attention due to a distinctive dark birthmark covering much of her face, resembling a Batman mask. This mark was diagnosed as a giant congenital melanocytic nevus, a rare skin condition that affects approximately 1 in 20,000 newborns and carries an increased risk of developing melanoma, a serious form of skin cancer. Shortly after her birth, Luna's parents, Caroline Fenner and Thiago Tavares, sought medical opinions across the United States, consulting specialists in cities like Boston, Chicago, and New York. However, the recommended treatments were often invasive and spanned several years. In 2019, the family connected with Dr. Pavel Borisovich Popov, a surgeon oncologist in Russia, who proposed a less aggressive treatment plan involving 6 to 8 surgeries over 18 months. The family traveled to Krasnodar, Russia, where Luna underwent these procedures. By 2021, the majority of the nevus had been successfully removed. Upon seeing her reflection post-surgery, Luna joyfully exclaimed, "My black spot is gone, I am a princess." Despite the successful removal of the birthmark, Luna faced subsequent challenges. Laser treatments around her eyes led to complications, including the inability to close her left eye, posing risks to her vision. The family sought further medical assistance in South Florida to address these issues. Throughout her journey, Luna's story has been one of resilience and hope. Her family's unwavering determination and advocacy have not only improved her quality of life, but also raised awareness about congenital melanocytic nevus, inspiring many around the world. Isla Kilpatrick-Screaton is an extraordinary young girl from Leicester, UK, known for her incredibly rare medical condition called mandibuloacral dysplasia, or MAD. This rare genetic disorder causes premature aging, and Isla's case is so unique that she is believed to be the only person in the world with her specific form of the disease. Because of this, her story has touched many hearts and inspired people worldwide. From the moment she was born, Isla faced significant health challenges. She arrived early, at 36 weeks, and immediately had complications including suspected sepsis, a serious infection. Her parents, Stacy and Kyle, faced the heartbreaking reality that they couldn't hold her right away, as Isla was placed into a medically induced coma to help stabilize her fragile condition. At just 10 weeks old, Isla had to undergo a tracheostomy, a surgical procedure that creates an opening in the windpipe, to help her breathe because her airways were dangerously narrow. Despite these daunting medical obstacles, Isla's spirit shines bright. She communicates using Makaton sign language since she is unable to cry due to her condition, but that doesn't stop her from expressing herself in many other ways. Her family describes her as determined, joyful, and full of personality. She's a reminder that even in the face of overwhelming challenges, resilience and hope can prevail. Isla's family shares her journey openly on social media, hoping to raise awareness about mandibuloacral dysplasia and to connect with others who face similar rare conditions. Their transparency has helped build a supportive community around Isla's story, bringing strength and encouragement to families worldwide dealing with rare diseases. In every way, Isla Kilpatrick-Screaton is a true inspiration, a one-in-a-million individual showing us the power of courage, love, and hope in the face of adversity. Farrah Khaleck is a Kenyan woman who has been living with scleroderma, a rare autoimmune disease that causes the skin and connective tissues to harden and tighten. Diagnosed at the age of 19, Farrah's journey with the condition has been challenging, but she has transformed her experience into a platform for advocacy and self-love. Initially, Farrah struggled with the changes in her appearance, feeling disconnected from the reflection in the mirror. She recalls, "I used to be scared looking in the mirror." This period of self-doubt was compounded by misdiagnoses and a lack of understanding from her community. However, Farrah's perspective shifted when she embraced her condition and began sharing her story online. Through her social media platforms, Farrah has become an advocate for individuals with rare diseases, promoting messages of acceptance and resilience. She has garnered a following for her candid posts and videos, where she discusses her experiences and challenges. Farrah's openness has inspired many, encouraging others to embrace their unique journeys and find strength in their stories. In addition to her advocacy work, Farrah has expressed a desire to start a foundation to support individuals dealing with rare conditions, aiming to provide resources and raise awareness. Her journey serves as a testament to the power of self-acceptance and the impact of sharing one's story with the world. Michelle Kish is one of the most unforgettable people you'll ever come across, not just because of how she looks, but because of the spirit she carries within her. Born in 2005 in Illinois, USA, Michelle lives with an ultra-rare genetic condition called Hallermann-Streiff syndrome, a disorder so uncommon that there are only around 250 known cases worldwide. This condition affects her physical appearance, growth, and even her internal organs. Michelle has a very small stature, facial abnormalities, and requires the use of a wheelchair to get around. She's undergone dozens of medical procedures throughout her life. Surgeries, hospital visits, constant treatments, things most people couldn't even imagine dealing with. But despite all of that, Michelle shines like a star. From the very beginning, her family knew she was special, not just medically, but emotionally. Her energy is infectious, her attitude is fearless, and her sense of humor is absolutely unmatched. Michelle doesn't shy away from the camera. In fact, she loves it. She wears bright colors, funky glasses, and proudly shows off her collection of stuffed animals and colorful outfits. What makes Michelle even more special is her bond with her older sister Sarah. The two are inseparable. Sarah has shared their journey on social media, giving the world a glimpse into Michelle's life. Not for sympathy, but for awareness and celebration. Their sibling bond is strong, playful, and deeply loving. Sarah once said that Michelle has taught her more about life, strength, and happiness than anyone else ever could. Michelle has big dreams too. She's talked about wanting to be a doctor, a police officer, a princess, and even a superhero. And honestly, she already is. She's become an advocate for people with rare diseases and visible differences, proving to the world that beauty isn't about fitting in. It's about standing out with pride. Michelle Kish may have been born different, but she lives life with more courage, color, and confidence than most people ever will. She's not just surviving, she's thriving and inspiring millions along the way. Meet Zoe Lush, a brave girl from Huntington Beach, California, born with a rare and severe form of osteogenesis imperfecta type 3, a condition so fragile her bones would break in the wind from the slightest pressure. From her very first moments, Zoe's life was marked by fragility. She fractured her collarbone during birth, and by her first few weeks, she'd broken both arms and a leg. Over the course of her first year, she endured nearly 100 fractures. Despite these overwhelming physical challenges, Zoe's spirit remains unbroken. She communicates with sign language and brings warmth and humor into every moment, even when most would expect her to be in pain. Thanks to community support through initiatives like rodding surgeries, which insert expanding metal rods to reinforce her fragile bones, Zoe has shown amazing progress. She's even learning to sit, crawl, and reach for the world around her. Though each move carries the risk of another fracture, Zoe's determination shines through. Her life isn't defined by her breaks. It's defined by her boundless resilience, her family's love, and a spirit that refuses to be contained. Meet Manpreet Singh, a young man from Punjab, India, born in 1995, who today still bears the physique of a toddler. At just 23 inches tall and weighing around 5 kilograms, 11 pounds, he stopped growing when he was barely 1 year old, and his mind remains at a very early developmental stage. Doctors suspect a hormonal imbalance, potentially Rarest syndrome, but a definitive diagnosis has eluded them because Manpreet's family lacks the resources for advanced testing. In many parts of his village, people believe he's an incarnation of God. They lovingly call him Baba, and visitors come seeking his blessing, viewing his condition not with pity, but as a miracle. Manpreet cannot walk or talk. Instead, he communicates through gestures, laughter, tears, and giggles, much like a toddler. He's cared for around the clock by his aunt and uncle, who act as his full-time guardians. Though medically mysterious and emotionally challenging, Manpreet's life reminds us of the strength found in family love and cultural compassion, a poignant story of mystery, devotion, and unshakable human value. These incredible individuals remind us of the strength of the human spirit. Despite unimaginable challenges, they continue to inspire the world with their courage and resilience. Which of these rare conditions shocked you the most? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more unbelievable stories from around the globe.